At ease. It's your boy Soul Immortal. Guys, I can remember the exact moment my life went from this to this. I mean, I can remember it just like it was yesterday. But the thing is this, I can remember not only that moment, but the 10 years prior to that. Because when I was around 23, right, I had this situation that took place in a church that I was in that really kind of separated me from religion, right? And once I started just trying to, gain more knowledge of this world, I found out about just a man obtaining knowledge of self, right? And once I started getting this information, for the next 2 or 3 years, I was just studying and learning this knowledge of self, who I was. So after that, I started getting into, the power of our thoughts, right? And for the next 2 or 3 years, that's all I focused on. Power of our thoughts, who I was, for a 2 or 3 year span. And then I got into meditation and the power of that. And again, it was another 2 to 3 year spell of just constant, training and learning. But when I found out this element, there was no training period. There was no time where I needed to develop in this. It was instant. And that element is the power of acting as if. In other words, the power of I am that I am. Let's talk about it. I can remember it just like it was yesterday, guys. So the period of time was, so I always talk about when I was at the bottom of the bottom. And I was just starting to come out of that, right? A friend of mine had called me and wanted me to come, I was out of work. A friend of mine called me and told me that he wanted me to come work on this drilling rig. Now, the 5 or 6 years before that, I was in the oil and gas industry. And I was climbing pretty fast, man. I supervised a frac crew. I was in business development. Life was good. But in 2009, when the oil and gas industry crashed, pretty much a lot of people were out of jobs. So when he called me back to work on this drilling rig, I was going from working in a business development, having my own office type setup, to working on the rig floor of a drilling rig. If you guys that are familiar with drilling rigs, in the oil and gas industry, a drilling rig is where a lot of guys kind of start their oil and gas careers off. So here I was, 33 years old, working alongside with guys that were, 19, 20, 21 years old, these young guys. And here I am, still a young guy. Here I was in my 30s, doing this, long labors, work, which was no big deal. I was in shape to do it. But I'll admit, it was a lot harder on my body than it was when I was 19, 20, of course. And no one was hiring, man. I was putting resumes out, man, I think I worked on that rig for maybe close to a year or so. And I just remember, every time I had a break, I would go and sit in my truck and I would just read. I would just read different books or listen to different stuff on YouTube or whatever, And this is when things changed, guys. I can't remember how I found out about this book, but it's a book called The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles, and I bought this book. And see, a lot of people talk about the book by Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. This book, the Think and Grow Rich, is just an exaggerated version of this book. And this book is a lot smaller. But this book was very interesting. Like I said, it's called Think and Grow Rich, man. I mean, it's called The Science of Getting Rich. But really, it should be called The Science of Obtaining Anything. Because it's not just about money, in my opinion. It's about anything you want to obtain. And I'm reading this book, I'm still, like you said, at this point in life, I was fully aware of knowledge of self, fully aware of meditation, fully aware of who I was and the power of thought. I was there. And that stuff was showing up in my life, you know. But this, I remember sitting in my truck one day, and this is the thing, guys. So I would be on location, working on this drilling rig, and, you know, we're way up in there, and every once in a while I'll look down, and I'll see these different guys from different companies pull up. And they will be clean. They will be, you know, jeans, starched, shirt, you know, polo shirts, and they just clean. Have these nice, solid white hard hats. And they were just from different companies, different vendors and stuff. And I was like, that's what I need to be doing. And I wanted that, man, for just, you know, I would say months from seeing these guys come. And I said, that's what I want. And like I said, I was applying for these jobs and nothing was panning out. And I was reading this book. And I got to this one chapter, and everything made sense. And it's chapter 11 of this book, and it's called Acting in a Certain Way. And this chapter starts off just like this. It says, thought is the creative power or the impelling force which causes the creative power to act. Thinking in a certain way will bring riches to you, but you must not rely upon thought alone. Paying no attention to personal action. That is the rock upon which many otherwise scientific metaphysical thinkers meet shipwreck. The failure to connect thought with personal action. And as soon as I read that, sentence, that small paragraph, guys, I'm telling you, everything made sense to me. Because the first thing went back to my mind was what I've been hearing in church the whole time growing up. See, the thing is, I'd been reading this my whole life, or hearing certain versions of it in the Bible, or hearing my father preach about it. But it's just that it became so repetition that it kind of lost its savor until I read it here, right? Because if you go to James 2:14, it says, what does it profit, my brethren, if someone says he has faith but does not have works? Can faith save him? If a brother or sister is naked and destitute of daily food, and one of you says to them, depart in peace, be warmed and filled, but do not give them the things which are needed for the body, what does it profit? Thus also faith by itself does not have works. If it does not have works, it's dead. Guys, that is the exact same thing, and I'm telling you, it is the absolute truth, right? Because we can sit here and talk about meditation and power of thoughts and talk about who we really are as human beings. If we don't exercise, if we don't act as if, then nothing comes from it. Acting as if is the concrete to this whole thing. It's the secret sauce to this whole thing, right? It's like, for example, if you, let's say you go to a dealership, right? Let's say you go to a dealership, Chevy dealership, and you want you a new Silverado. And, you know, you go to the computer screen, you know, you want a custom-made Silverado. You go to the screen, you know, you pick what kind of wheels you want on it. You want the interior like this, you know, the paint like this. You want this package, this surround sound. And the truck is delivered, right? Until they give you those keys, that truck is dead. That truck is just pieces of metal and rubber. It doesn't even, it really has no existence. It's not even real yet, you know what I'm saying? But once you get those keys, everything goes into place. Now you can enjoy it. Now the truck is real. Now you can experience it. Guys, I'm telling you that acting as if are the keys. That's the keys to make everything work. And when I think about it, I don't want to say it's the hardest part, but it's the most challenging because it's easy to go in your room at night alone and get to a point where you can meditate and create. It's easy to, you know, to read certain books. It's easy to have certain thoughts and daydream and dream about things you want. But to act as if, guys, it takes a certain power. Because I remember times, man, where I could open my bank account And man, I would have, 30-something dollars left to my name, or just enough money to put a little gas in my car. But in my mind, I had to act, walk, and talk as if I had $5,000, $10,000 in there. It had to come out of me. You know what I'm saying? And guys, ever since that moment on that drilling rig, my life from that moment has changed. Because this is the thing. This is how it played out. So I've been on that rig for, like I say, close to a year. As soon as I read that in this book, I was in my truck reading it. As soon as I read it, when I stepped out of my truck, when my brake was over, when I stepped onto my truck, I carried myself like I was someone else. The way I walked, the way I talked, the way my shoulders stood tall, was as if I was someone of authority. As if I was just like these men I've been seeing coming out there. I knew that these men coming out there had a certain stature in life. I knew that they had a certain authority in life. And I carried myself as such. Now I'm going back on that drilling rig floor. It's snowing, it's raining on me. I'm sitting there covered in mud and all this stuff. But in my mind, the way I carried myself was as a person of authority. And I kid you not, if I'm lying, I'm dying. In a matter of, I want to say a couple of weeks, maybe 2 weeks, I could just feel things change. I could feel the world changing. And I said, you know what? It's time for me to act even more, to put more thought into it, right? So, again, I start putting out more applications. And I said, and this is what I remember. I remember saying, this was the first time I made a vision board. So I remember saying, you know what, I'm gonna go make me a vision board, and I'm gonna put pictures of myself, in this scenario or whatever, And I remember being at Walmart. It was me and this girl I used to talk to. We were talking about vision boards, and I went to Walmart and I was looking at boards to make my vision board. And I picked this board up and I said, this is the one I want. And as soon as I said that, my phone rang. So I picked my phone up, and it was Key Energy. That's why I worked for the next 5 years. It was Key Energy. They called me out of the blue and said, hey, you know what? We saw your resume on file from when you applied way back when, and it looks good. We want you to come in and talk to us, and it went from there. And I'll talk more about that here in a minute. But guys, when I say everything in my life has stemmed from me reading that part of that book, I mean everything. In other words, I can't even explain how I could live my life without living it like this. Just for example, we talk about women all the time. We talk about how women are no good and how women are a certain way, and all those are facts. And all that stuff needs to be talked about to bring awareness. But guys, once a man knows who he is, once a man knows how to create, and once a man knows how to act as if a man wants to bring in a 1%er, a wife type quality woman, it's nothing. It's nothing. And that's kind of why my channel is starting to be, mixed up. I'm trying to mix it up with that information, that red pill knowledge about women and all that, along with knowledge of self and meditation and all that stuff. Because yes, those things are true, but at the same time, we have the ability to create any situation, any circumstance, bring any people in our lives at will. At will. If you want a 1% woman, guys, it's nothing to just, all you have to do is act as if, carry yourself like a 1% man. And I'm telling you, you will see 1% women left and right. If you want to work in a certain career field, act as if. If you want to make 50K a year, then you have to ask yourself, what would I be doing? How would I be thinking? How would I act if I made 50K a year? Like how would I carry myself? If you want to make 100,000 a year, if you want to make 250 a year, how would I carry myself? And I'm telling you guys, it's something that no one can explain, but the universe, the world, God, the Most High, whatever you want to give this power, whatever name you want to give it, the world just reacts to that. I remember watching in it may have been an old Denzel film. It might have been Malcolm X. Don't hold me to that, but it could have been Malcolm X, or it could have been that movie where Denzel was playing that boxer in prison. I can't, Hurricane. It could have been one of those. But I remember him saying, once you take one step toward the universe takes 2 steps toward you. And that is the best way to explain it, guys. Anything I do in my life, once I commit to it in my mind and take steps toward it, it's like the world just gives you more of it. And the more I step toward it, the more it comes to me. You know what I'm saying? It goes for anything. You know, if you wanna start a business, then you know, you need to be even if you don't have any money to start a business, you need to be looking into it. Like you need to go say, you need to know in your mind, like, okay, I want to start a business. I want a storefront. I want to sell clothes or shoes or CDs or whatever. But you haven't taken the time to go and see what a lease would cost on a building. You know, you haven't done the research on what it would cost to get inventory. Because once you start doing that stuff, the universe is saying, you know what? This man is serious. And it's going to start pouring toward to you, right? For example, you know, people who want to travel. You know, people say they want to travel. I want to see the world. I want to do this. But do you have a passport? Not even that. But have you gotten online and said, if I go to Dubai, for example, how much would it cost? You know, if I went to Dubai, what hotel would I stay in? What would I do if I was over there? You know what I'm saying? Because those are the thoughts that makes the universe, the world, bring it to you. Guys, I'm telling you, I have my vision board in my closet, and I'm telling you, Dubai has been on my board, along with several things, for years. I put certain things on my board, and they were there for years because I didn't have any understanding a lot of times. But once I started acting as if, once I started taking steps toward any goal I wanted, the universe just started rewarding me. And the thing about it is this, you know, this knowledge, what I love about this knowledge is that it doesn't matter if you're black, you're white, male, female, Hispanic, it doesn't matter. You know, I remember hearing a guy say one time that you can have a lock on a door, right? But once somebody has the key, they have access to it. Now the lock doesn't give a damn who has the key. It don't matter if it's a rich man, poor man, black man, white man, male, female, African, Chinese. It doesn't matter. If a person has the lock, the key to this lock, he'll have the ability to open this lock and have access to what's on the other side. Guys, I'm telling you, the stuff that we're talking about, and especially acting as if, is the key to everything. Life with blinders. Now, if you've ever watched horse racing, and I'm sure everybody here has, at least a little bit, you'll notice that those jockeys have blinders on those horses. And it ain't just because it looks kind of cool. It's because those jockeys want those horses focused strictly on the goal, right? Because if they don't have them, what might happen is they might see the horse beside them, you know, and the jockey about to fall off. You know, they might look on this side and see some other BS going on, and that's going to distract them from what it is they're focusing on, which is being the first to the finish line. And guys, I'm telling you, this is the way you have to live your life. You know, even though you know certain things are going on outside of you or around you, you have to keep your eyes focused on the goal. This is another book that I came across at some point in time in life, and it's going to be in one of the videos I do coming up about my top 5 books. But it's called The Secret of the Ages by Robert Collier. And brothers, I'm telling you, this is, I don't talk about this book much, and I actually don't read it. I might read this book maybe once a year. but it's some heavy stuff in it, along with a few more books that I'm going to talk about on a video. But this is one thing that stood out in this book that really has a lot to do with what we're talking about. And it's in the chapter called The Genie of Your Mind. And what it says is, it says the most important province of your conscious mind is to center your thoughts on the one thing you want. Believe that ye receive, and then shut the door on every suggestion or fear or worry or failure. If you once gained the ability to do that, nothing else is impossible. Guys, and I'm telling you, those are straight facts. Now, I told you that I would come back to when I got that job, when I got off that drilling rig and I got the interview with Key Energy. Let me tell you about this job, about this interview process, and how crazy this story was, guys. I've seen this happen so many times, but this is just one example for the sake of that's the story I was telling. So I went to my initial interview. I think the initial interview was on the phone, rather, and they said we're interviewing for 2 positions. We're interviewing for an operations manager, and then we're interviewing for a district manager. I said, okay, cool. So I went in for my first initial interview, blew it out the water. I studied, like I always talk about, I studied for the interview, knew the company inside and out, blew it out the water. And so they called me back. They said, hey, we have an offer for you. We want to make you an offer. And now in my mind, I had my mindset. I said, you know what? I am the district manager of Key Energy. There was nothing else to be said about it. I didn't entertain no other thoughts. I had my vision board. I had an old business card from my old employer. I had it scratched out, and I had my name, district manager, Key Energy. That's who I was. Everything I did in life, everything I said, the way I acted, the way I carried myself, I was the district manager at Key Energy. Nothing else. So I get to the interview. Well, not the interview. I get to the meeting where they're going to talk about my offer. And my manager's name was Daryl at the time. Cool cat. And Daryl's sitting there telling me about, hey, we're impressed with you. We want to make you an offer. We want to give you the operations manager job. Would you like it? And I was just like, hey, that's cool. Like, hey, like thank you for offering that. And he's still talking. And he said, hey, well, while he's telling me all this stuff, we're talking about salary, we're talking about benefits. I'm just listening to what he's saying. But in my mind, I'm the district manager at Key Energy. I didn't entertain anything else. And guys, let me tell you how crazy this was. So while he's talking, he said, hey, let me show you around. And he's still talking about benefits and what they do and blah, blah, blah. And we're walking around the facilities, and he's telling me, hey, you'll be over, the operations in this city, and this city, and this city. And in my mind, I'm looking around, and I'm looking at the building. I'm looking at the trucks. I'm looking at the staff. And in my mind, I said, I'm the district manager of this place. I didn't entertain anything else. So we walk around, we go back to the office, which was soon to be my office, and we sit down. And that's when he's going into details, saying, okay, we're going to make you an offer, look at it, look at the pay, look at this. And in mid-sentence, guys, if I'm lying, I am dying. In mid-sentence, he said, hold up. And he gets up and he leaves the room. And I'm just sitting there like, I don't know what he's doing, but my mind, I'm the district manager of this place. And he comes back in and he sits down with a paper. And he says, okay, we made some changes. We're going to offer you the district manager position at Key. And he talked about the salary, which was much higher. He talked about the benefit. And in my mind, guys, all I could do was say, you know what? Like, life is good. God is good. Like, I understand it now. All the stuff that I've been reading in the Bible and all the stuff, it all made sense because I could see it from a different angle. I could see it from a reality angle. And what's weird, when he said that, guys, when he said, okay, we're going to make you the district manager, it was already so real inside of me. I didn't even get any reaction out of it because in my mind, I was already that. It's crazy how that works, guys. I'm telling you, acting as if is the key. Now, going forward, guys, when you look at a certain situation, when you're trying to get that job, that woman, that whatever, the thing is this: you have to know the difference between hoping and knowing, and knowing to put your and know how to put your energy in knowing, because you can walk around and hope and wish all day long, but that's not faith. That's not what faith is. Faith is knowing. Faith is saying, you know what? Even though I know there's an eviction letter in the mail, even though I know they saying my light's getting cut off in 3 days, I know that it's going to work out a different way because I've created that and I'm acting as if. That's how it's done, guys. Man, without any doubt in my mind, these are hands down the most important words you'll ever hear. I am that I am. And I'm telling you guys, this goes back as far as you can think. This is ancient knowledge. This is the knowledge that tells you not only who you are, what you are, but what you're capable of. It goes back to well, it goes beyond this. But if you look back in the Bible, when God had commissioned Moses to do the work, for the Israelites, we talk about the whole burning bush and that whole scenario. But it comes a point in Exodus chapter 3, verse 13, right? And it's talking about, again, God's commission to Moses. And it says, in 13, it says, and Moses said unto God, behold, when I come unto the children of Israel and shall say unto them, the God of your fathers has sent me unto you, and they shall say to me, what is his name? He said, what shall I say to him? And 14 says, and God said unto Moses, I am that I am. And he said, thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, I am has sent me unto you. Guys, this alone is life-changing. And the thing is, there are only certain groups of people, certain fraternities on this planet that even bring this up. Right, but this is in a nutshell what I am that I am is. It's said to be the name of the name of God, right? But in a nutshell, it's telling us who we are, what we're capable of. In other words, it's telling you. I talked about this in another video. Just like the spider has its power to create a web, just like the chameleon has its ability to change colors. We as human beings have the ability to be whatever we want. In other words, I am that I am is saying that I convert myself to that in order to be. In other words, if I wanted to be a fireman, in my mind, in my heart, I have to say, I am that in order for me to be that. That is our power. I am that I am. Do I have 50K in the book? Am I a successful businessman? Am I an entrepreneur? I am that I am. Guys, I'm telling you, once you get in that mindset, once you understand the power of I am. In other words, it's saying once you understand the power of acting as if, being as if, living as if I am in order that I am. See, once a human being, once a man with knowledge and understanding gets that, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. There is nothing from stopping you to obtain any goal, to reach any level of success, to create any level of health. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you go to the doctor tomorrow and get bad news that, you know, something's not right. You go home, you get in your meditation, you come out of that, I am healthy. You know, it goes back to in the Bible, and don't quote me because I just remember, you know, when Jesus would go through and heal people, and Jesus would say, you know, do this, you know, put mud on your eyes, do this. And they would do all that stuff. And then he would say, go and be ye healed. That's what he's saying. We're human beings. I am that I am. He's saying, you know what? Believe that you are, accept it, act as if, and go and be ye healed. Be that is what he's saying. I am that I am. God, I'm telling you, acting as if is hands down the secret sauce. And I'm telling you, as soon as you implement this, as soon as you gain the ability to put blinders on and ignore the world. And when I say ignore the world, I mean, I'm not saying don't watch TV, but when CNN is telling you that the world is going to crap, don't listen to that. When your job is talking about, you know, job cuts, don't listen to that. Don't listen to none of that. When your doctor is saying, hey, you know what, you got 3 months to live, all that is irrelevant to a man with knowledge, power, and understanding, guys. I'm telling you, acting as if is hands down the concrete to all we've talked about. If you have any questions, guys, let me know. We can talk more about this. But it's your boy Soul Immortal, and I'm out.